Two members of Congress joining us from Florida, Republican Representative Ilana Ros-Lehtinen, and from Hawaii, Democratic Representative Tulsi Gabbard. Good evening to both of you, and first to you, Congresswoman Lehtinen. Did the President not take this seriously in January that he made that JV remark?
Well, we want to minimize the problems over there. If he were to say that this is a varsity terrorist threat, then that means that we have to step up to the challenge. And, you know, this is all a political narrative. We have to say everything is fine. There's nothing going on here in Benghazi. There was nothing going on in Syria. There is no problem. And now again with ISIS or ISIL in Iraq. And what is happening now, he's repeating the same mistake, Greta, because he's saying these are limited pinprick airstrikes, and he's minimizing it. And so the enemy, what they're hearing is, oh, the United States is hardly going to touch us. Let's say we're going to help the Kurds. We're going to give them the arms that they need. No one is saying boots on the ground, but we have natural allies who can help us beat these terrorists.
Congresswoman Gabbard, you are a vet, so you have seen a lot of this. You've been on the ground on these situations. Is this what we should be doing right now?
That's a great question, Greta. I think it's important for us to ask us, what are we doing and what should we be doing? We should not be in the business of nation building, whether in Iraq or Afghanistan or in any other place. We should not be getting involved in other countries' sectarian civil wars. And what's disheartening to me, you know, I joined the military after 9/11, like so many other people, because we saw these Islamic extremists declaring war against our country, and we joined to go and fight against these people who want to kill our fellow American citizens. We hear from the administration yesterday their declaration saying that the President's airstrikes was not an authorization of a broad-based counterterrorism campaign against ISIS. ISIS is al-Qaeda. These are the same Islamic extremists whose goal is to kill Americans and continue to provide that threat. So as we look at what's happening there in Iraq right now, we should regain our focus on what our mission should be as the United States, and that is to take out these Islamic extremists wherever they are. And right now, we have the ability to do so uniquely there with the Kurds who are fighting against them on the ground.
Congresswoman Gabbard, would you put our boots on the ground in Iraq in light of the fact that we've outlined a sort of a national interest for the United States because ISIS wants to get us as well? Would you put American boots on the ground there?
I don't think that's the right question we should be asking. We should be asking a very strategic, tactical military question as we look at what's happening on the ground there. Kurds fighting. We have the ability to support the Kurds who have the courage and the will to fight on the ground against ISIS, and we can support them by providing heavy weaponry, for example, and by providing airstrike cover. That same situation may not work in other places where ISIS is acting, or where other places where we have other Islamic extremists by a different name who are causing problems.
Congresswoman Lehtinen, do you agree that we should be arming the Kurds, as Congresswoman Gabbard says?
Well, first of all, Tulsi is a patriot. We thank her for her service, and she's doing a phenomenal job in our Foreign Affairs Committee. What a wonderful addition to our Congress. And like Tulsi, my stepson and daughter-in-law also served in Iraq. And we know, all military families know that the threat of these terrorist groups, and no one is saying boots on the ground, but we have such natural allies in the Kurds. They're killing women. They're kidnapping children. They're beheading Christians. They say that they're going to kill us. They already control parts of Syria. They control great parts of Iraq. Do you think they're going to stop there? They're going to destabilize our ally Jordan, also get into Lebanon. And what they seek is total domination, Islamic caliphate. And it's not time for boots on the ground, but it's time to help our natural allies, the Kurds, defend their homeland. And they've been begging for this for months. It's time that President Obama listened to those voices.
Congressman Gabbard, let me switch gears just for a second with you and turn to another topic. Your state of Hawaii is getting pummeled by two storms, and I'm curious how you're doing. You've got a tropical storm and you've got a hurricane coming.
Yeah, thanks, Greta. You know, it's been a very tense last 48 hours, and we've got another tense 72 hours ahead of us as the second hurricane comes our way. We've had Hurricane ISIL, which really hit Hawaii the hardest overnight last night, taking out power for tens of thousands of people, many people going to evacuation shelters. Thankfully, because of our great civil defense teams, Red Cross, our emergency responders, and people really being proactive and being ready, we had no reported injuries, no reported deaths, and people are remaining vigilant as Hurricane Julio heads our direction.
Congresswoman, thank you to both of you. And as a tip to Congressman Gabbard, you might want to call Congresswoman Lehtinen after the show. She has hurricane experience as well. Yeah,
no
she has
kidding.
Unfortunately. Anyway, thank you both.
Thank you, Greta.
Thanks, Greta. Aloha.